The forest was silent, save for the faint crunch of snow underfoot and the labored, ragged breaths of the injured wolf. Its fur, once a proud coat of silver and gray, was now matted with blood, the crimson stark against the pristine white snow. The wolf's amber eyes darted frantically, searching for an escape, but the hunters were closing in. Their voices, low and menacing, carried through the trees like a death knell. The wolf's heart pounded in its chest, each beat a desperate plea for survival. It limped forward, its wounded leg dragging behind, leaving a trail of blood that marked its path like a cruel map for its pursuers. The hunters were relentless, their faces hardened by years of survival in the wilderness. They moved with precision, their rifles glinting in the pale winter light. The wolf was trapped, surrounded, and the end seemed inevitable. But then something shifted. The air grew heavier, charged with an electric tension that made the hunters pause. The wolf, sensing the change, lifted its head, its ears twitching. A low, guttural growl emanated from the trees, a sound so deep and primal that it seemed to vibrate through the very ground. The hunters exchanged uneasy glances, their confidence wavering. The growl grew louder, closer, and then, from the shadows, emerged a massive figure. It was another wolf, but unlike any they had ever seen. Its fur was a deep midnight black, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity. The injured wolf's ears perked up, and a faint whimper escaped its throat. The black wolf stepped forward, its movements deliberate and powerful, and positioned itself between the hunters and its wounded companion. The hunters hesitated, their rifles trembling in their hands. The black wolf's presence was overwhelming, its sheer size and ferocity enough to make even the most seasoned hunter think twice. But they were not men easily deterred. One of them, a grizzled man with a scar running down his cheek, raised his rifle and took aim. The black wolf's eyes locked onto his, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a speed that defied belief, the black wolf lunged. The gunshot echoed through the forest, but the bullet missed its mark, embedding itself in a tree instead. The black wolf was upon the hunter in an instant, its powerful jaws clamping down on the rifle and wrenching it from his grasp. The other hunters froze, their bravado shattered by the sheer force of the wolf's attack. The injured wolf, emboldened by its companion's bravery, struggled to its feet. Its legs screamed in protest, but it pushed through the pain, driven by a primal instinct to survive. The black wolf turned its attention to the other hunters, its growl a warning that brooked no argument. One by one, they backed away, their faces pale with fear. The grizzled hunter, now disarmed and humiliated, glared at the wolves with a mixture of rage and disbelief. But he knew when he was beaten. With a curt nod to his companions, he turned and fled, the others following close behind. The forest fell silent once more, the only sound the soft panting of the two wolves. The black wolf turned to its injured companion, its eyes softening with a tenderness that belied its ferocity. It nuzzled the smaller wolf gently, as if to reassure it that the danger had passed. The injured wolf leaned into the touch, its body trembling with exhaustion and relief. Together, they began to move through the forest, the black wolf staying close to its companion, its presence a constant source of comfort and protection. The snow continued to fall, covering the tracks of the hunters and the blood that had been spilled, as if the forest itself was erasing the evidence of the violence that had taken place. As they walked, the injured wolf's strength began to wane. Its steps grew slower, more labored, and it stumbled more than once. The black wolf, sensing its companion's struggle, stopped and turned to face it. For a moment, they simply stood there, two creatures bound by a bond that transcended words. Then, with a soft whine, the injured wolf collapsed, its body no longer able to bear the weight of its injuries. The black wolf let out a mournful howl, a sound that echoed through the forest and sent shivers down the spines of any who heard it. It knelt beside its fallen companion, its nose nuzzling the wolf's fur as if trying to will it back to life. But then, something incredible happened. The black wolf's eyes began to glow with an intense, golden light, and a soft, warm radiance emanated from its body. The light enveloped the injured wolf, bathing it in a soothing, healing energy. The wounds that had seemed fatal began to close, the blood ceasing to flow as the flesh knit itself back together. The injured wolf's breathing steadied, and its eyes, once clouded with pain, cleared and focused. It looked up at its companion, a mixture of awe and gratitude in its gaze. The black wolf's light dimmed, and it let out a soft, contented sigh before collapsing beside its companion, its strength spent. The two wolves lay there in the snow, their bodies pressed together for warmth and comfort. The forest around them was silent, as if holding its breath in reverence for the miracle that had just taken place. The injured wolf, now healed, nuzzled its companion gently, a silent thank you for the sacrifice it had made. The black wolf's eyes fluttered closed, its breathing slow and steady. It had given everything to save its companion, and now it needed rest. As the sun began to set, casting a warm, golden glow over the forest, the two wolves remained where they were, their bond stronger than ever. The hunters were gone, their threat extinguished, and the forest was at peace once more. The injured wolf, now whole, stood and stretched, its movements fluid and strong. It looked down at its companion, its heart filled with a deep, abiding love. The black wolf opened its eyes, meeting the gaze of its companion with a look of quiet contentment. Together, they rose and began to walk through the forest, their steps in perfect harmony. The snow continued to fall, covering their tracks and the evidence of their struggle, as if the forest itself was protecting them. And as they disappeared into the trees, the forest seemed to sigh, a soft, contented sound that spoke of peace and renewal. The wolves were safe, their bond unbreakable, and the forest was once again a place of wonder and magic. The hunters would not return, their fear of the black wolf too great to overcome. And so the two wolves walked on, their journey far from over, but their hearts light with the knowledge that they had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. The forest was theirs, and they would protect it together for as long as they lived. The two wolves moved deeper into the forest, their pace steady but unhurried. The injured wolf, now healed, kept close to its companion, its senses heightened and alert. The black wolf, though visibly weakened from the immense energy it had expended, walked with a quiet dignity, its presence still commanding. The bond between them was palpable, a silent understanding that needed no words. The forest seemed to acknowledge their presence, the trees whispering secrets to one another as the wolves passed. The snow beneath their paws was soft, muffling their footsteps, and the air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of pine and earth. As they ventured further, the landscape began to change. The dense thicket of trees gave way to a clearing bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak, its gnarled branches reaching skyward like the arms of a guardian. The wolves approached the tree cautiously, their instincts telling them that this place was special. The air around the oak was warmer, and the snow had melted away, revealing a circle of lush, green grass. The injured wolf hesitated, its eyes wide with wonder, but the black wolf nudged it forward, encouraging it to step into the circle. As soon as the injured wolf's paws touched the grass, a surge of energy coursed through its body. It let out a soft yelp, more from surprise than pain, and the black wolf watched intently, its eyes glowing faintly. The energy seemed to flow from the ground, up through the wolf's legs, and into its chest, where it settled like a warm, comforting weight. The injured wolf's fur shimmered in the moonlight, and its wounds, though already healed, seemed to vanish completely, leaving no trace of the ordeal it had endured. The black wolf stepped into the circle as well, and the same energy enveloped it, restoring its strength and vitality. The ancient oak seemed to come alive, its branches swaying gently despite the absence of wind. A soft, melodic hum filled the air, a sound that seemed to resonate from the very heart of the tree. The wolves looked up, their eyes drawn to the source of the sound. High above, nestled in the branches, was a nest made of twigs and leaves, and within it lay a single, glowing egg. The light from the egg pulsed in time with the hum, casting a warm, golden glow over the clearing. The wolves felt a deep sense of reverence, as if they were in the presence of something sacred. The black wolf let out a low, respectful growl, and the injured wolf followed suit, their voices blending harmoniously with the hum of the tree. The egg's light intensified, and a figure began to emerge from within. It was a bird, but unlike any the wolves had ever seen. Its feathers were a brilliant, iridescent gold, and its eyes shone with an ancient wisdom. The bird spread its wings, and the clearing was bathed in a radiant light that seemed to chase away the shadows of the forest. The wolves bowed their heads, their instincts telling them to show respect to this majestic creature. The bird let out a soft, melodic call, and the sound seemed to carry a message, one that the wolves understood on a primal level. It was a call to protect, to guard the forest and all the life within it. The wolves felt a deep sense of purpose, as if they had been chosen for a sacred duty. The bird's eyes met theirs, and in that moment, a bond was formed, one that transcended species and time. The bird took to the air, its wings beating slowly as it circled the clearing. The wolves watched in awe, their hearts filled with a sense of belonging and unity. As the bird flew higher, its light began to fade, and the clearing returned to its natural state. The ancient oak stood silent once more, its branches still and its secrets hidden. The wolves, now imbued with a newfound sense of purpose, turned and left the clearing, their steps confident and sure. They knew that their journey was far from over, and that the forest would always need protectors. But for now, they were content to walk together, their bond stronger than ever. The forest seemed to welcome them back, the trees parting to make way for their path. The snow had stopped falling, and the air was filled with the soft sounds of the night. The wolves moved as one, their senses attuned to the slightest change in their surroundings. They knew that the hunters would not return, but they also knew that the forest was full of other dangers, both seen and unseen. They would face them together, as they had faced everything else. As they walked, the injured wolf felt a surge of gratitude towards its companion. It knew that without the black wolf, it would not have survived. The black wolf, in turn, felt a deep sense of pride and affection for its companion. They had been through so much together, and their bond had only grown stronger with each trial. The forest seemed to sense their unity, and the trees whispered their approval, their leaves rustling softly in the night breeze. The wolves eventually came to a small, secluded glade, where a stream flowed gently over smooth stones. The water was clear and cold, and the wolves drank deeply, their thirst quenched by the pure, refreshing liquid. The glade was a peaceful place, untouched by the outside world, and the wolves felt a sense of calm wash over them. They lay down on the soft grass, their bodies close together, and let the sounds of the forest lull them into a deep, restful sleep. As they slept, the forest watched over them, its ancient eyes filled with a quiet wisdom. The trees stood tall and strong, their roots deep in the earth, and the stars above shone brightly, their light a reminder of the vastness of the universe. The wolves were safe, their bond unbreakable, and the forest was at peace. The night passed quietly, and the wolves slept soundly, their dreams filled with visions of the future and the adventures that awaited them. When the first light of dawn broke through the trees, the wolves awoke, their bodies refreshed and their spirits high. They stretched and yawned, their movements synchronized as if they were one. The forest was alive with the sounds of morning, the birds singing their cheerful songs, and the stream babbling merrily over the stones. The wolves felt a sense of renewal, as if the night had washed away the last remnants of their ordeal. They set off once more, their steps light and their hearts full. The forest stretched out before them, vast and endless, and they knew that their journey would take them to places they had never seen before. But they were not afraid. They had each other, and that was all they needed. The bond between them was unbreakable, a force that would carry them through any challenge. As they walked, the injured wolf felt a surge of energy, as if the forest itself was lending them its strength. The black wolf, too, felt a renewed sense of purpose, its eyes shining with determination. They were the protectors of the forest, and they would fulfill their duty with honor and courage. The trees seemed to nod in approval, their branches swaying gently in the breeze, and the birds sang their songs of encouragement. The wolves continued on their journey, their bond stronger than ever. They faced the challenges of a forest together, their unity a testament to the power of loyalty and love. The forest was their home, and they would protect it with all their might. And as they walked, the sun rose higher in the sky, casting its warm, golden light over the land, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always come. The wolves' journey was far from over, but they were ready for whatever lay ahead. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, and they knew that as long as they were together, they could overcome anything. The forest was their sanctuary, and they would guard it with their lives. And as they disappeared into the trees, their bond unbreakable and their hearts full, the forest seemed to sigh a soft, contented sound that spoke of peace and renewal. The wolves were safe, their journey far from over,